Hey, what's up, Life with that pencil with another Path of Exile video, and in today's video I want to talk about the relative chance for Wombgifts. So for the whole league I've been compiling data for what type of, just general breach data, so you know, what kind of breach was it? Was it like a fortress breach or a classic, the classic breach, or was it a defend? When you drop the Wombgifts, what kind of mysterious, ancient, lavish, provision, and growing do you get? So what kind of relative chances are there for the different kinds of Wombgifts, and that this is not, you know, I've done this mostly on T16 and T17 maps, or rather only on T16 and T17 maps, and this is the relative chance. So it's only, you know, if you had 100 Wombgifts, what would they be? And this is not to say that, you know, if you do one defend mission, you're going to get X amount of Wombgifts. This is not based on that. I'm sure that's based on item quantity. The way I've been gathering this data is I just chuck a map in, I do whatever strat it is I'm doing Harbingers at the moment, and then if it's, you know, like a boss rush kind of strat, which I guess this one kind of is, then I will just basically go and kill the boss, and then I'll go and do the breach, whatever that breach may look like, and I'll just pick that up. And that's it. That's the whole data gathering methodology. It's not rocket surgery. This is a defend alias one, so we'll chuck this one into the sheet as well. But we just summon this lady and we press all the buttons and we wait. And apart from that, I also wanted to know, I think just before the patch hit, the 27.0.c. I had vendored all my Wombgifts, all the provisioning and growing ones I didn't think I was going to use, and then they added the 5-to-1 in that patch. So that was frustrating, because now obviously we've got to check what are the odds of getting different types of Wombgifts. So here we got a lavish Wombgift, so I would just exit out, or pause, and then say it's a defend one. Oh, actually, I've already got data in this row here. Let me just. This one was defend here. Right, so this was a defend one, and we got a lavish Wombgift here. So just check that in here, and that's it. And I got a little spreadsheet at the front. So that's all I would do for this, and then pick up our map and then get out of here. And now I can show you the Wombgifts that I've got in my stash. So I think I had around 750,000 gold before. And then I bought all of these on trade. So these are 576, I think, provisioning. So if you do provisioning, they all light up. And if you do I level 83, they all light up. And the same for these growing Wombgifts here. So if you do growing, then they all light up as well. So I'm going to vendor all of them. I'm going to 5-to-1 all of these, and then I'm going to record what, if there's a difference between vendoring provisioning and growing ones. The growing ones cost 1C, provisioning ones cost 2C. So I kind of want it to be the same, even though the growing ones cost half the price. But yeah, I had 750,000 gold. Now I've got 72k. So I'll be back in a minute, and let's talk about the results.
A few moments later.
Okay, something I quickly realized is that 576 is not divisible by 5. So I went and bought another 24 of the provisioning ones. I turned those into regular ones, and I got another 24 of the growing ones. So that brings us to an even 600 for both. So I've already done these ones, and I'm going to vendor these. And if you're interested, which I can't imagine you would be, but this is what the process looks like. You just chuck them all in, and then you get 12 out. That's it. And then you go again. So, I'll be back in a bit.
A few moments later.
And we're done. So, these are the provisioning. I swap them around a bit because it's easier for data entry. But these are the provisioning ones, and these are the growing ones. And the results are fairly similar. They're a little bit different, but let's go over the breach stuff first. So across all of the breaches that I did, I think I had annoyingly 403 breaches here, including the one we just did. And it seems like the Hive Fortress has around a 15% chance to appear, so I got 61 of those out of 403 occurrences of breach. The Defend is around 45%, and the Classic is around 40%. It seems it's fairly close. So the Wombgifts I thought was pretty interesting as well from the events. So that's anything that's basically not the boxes in the Hive Fortresses. You get around, and this is without using any sort of percent increase chance to find lavish Wombgifts on my my grafts. So I've just got increased graft blood gained, and honestly, it's a bit for the amount of Wombgifts you find too much blood if you got to 25% increased ones. But for the mysterious Wombgifts, they're around 9.5% drop rate. There, I found 48 out of the 499 in total. So around 9.5% for those. For the ancient ones, I got 61, so that's around 12%. Lavish was around 20. Provisioning was around 32%, and growing was around 26.5% in total. But from the boxes, it was different, and this was very strange to me. And maybe there's some kind of like lucky behavior going on. It's rolling twice and taking the better one. I'm not really sure what's going on here. But the mysterious was around the same. But the ancient was 19% versus 12, and this is over a fair amount of sample size. And it started off at I think around 24 or something. It was really different at the beginning, and it sort of averaged out a little bit now. But still, 30 out of 160-ish. It was a fairly high amount and it's significantly more than the number of ancient Wombgifts you get from the events. For the lavish ones, actually less. So you're getting less of the lavish ones in the Hive Fortress. And this is, when I went to the Hive Fortress, I would go full clear the entire thing just to make sure that I checked every box. It takes a lot longer, and I think you're probably better off just taking the first two boxes and then running to the middle. For the provisioning, it was like a bit more as well. You got more provisioning from the boxes than from the events, and then for the growing ones, it was less. Across everything, then we're looking at like around 10% for mysterious ones. The ancient ones are around 14%, and the lavish 18%, 33 for positioning, and 25 for growing. And the 5-to-1 stuff, I got for the growing ones, I got 13 mysterious ones. Maybe just increase the width a bit. That's pretty easier. 13 mysterious ones in here, and 14 ancient ones, and then 29 lavish, 30 provisioning, and 34 growing across 120, and 14 mysterious, 18 ancient, a bit more ancient for the provisioning ones, and then way less lavish ones, and then way more provisioning ones, and then around the same amount of growing ones. And for percentage-wise, and this is a small percentage, this is a small sample size, so 120 is pretty low, but it's around 10% or 11% here for the mysterious ones, and then around 11.5% for the ancient ones. The lavish is around 25%, and so is the provisioning, and then the growing's a bit more. And for this one, it was, the only standouts, or the only real differences, were the ancient ones, which had a little bit higher percentage. The lavish ones had way less percentage, and the provisioning ones were way higher. So that's the data for the breach stuff. I will be putting this in the description below so that you can have a look yourself. And obviously, this means that if you spend 5 chaos on 5 eye level 83 growing Wombgifts, which is normal, it's very cheap. They're the cheapest ones. Then you have a 10% chance to get a mysterious one. And I'm not sure how much the mysterious ones are. I think they're around. They're 6C now. Okay. The ancient ones are 17. So you got an 11% chance to get 17 chaos, which is it's not bad. It's not bad. And then a 25% chance to get a lavish one, which I think is around 10C, 9 or 10C. So I think it's definitely worth to 5-to-1 because these all total up to be like 45%. So you got a 45% chance to get something much better than the 5 chaos that you started with, and a a decent chance, a 25% chance to get something where there's double. Oh no, not double, double the 1 chaos you would get for getting a growing one. But yeah, that's the data I have for you today. So I'm going to put this in the description below. Please have a look at it. I'm going to make a post about this. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying the league. I'm going to go and turn all these into regular barracks for spines. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed yourself whilst you're here. I hope you are kind to everyone you meet. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.